Tia Jones from TD Jones Properties, and we're very excited. Today we have Miss Ramona Smart from Smart Insurance, and we're going to discuss the do's and don'ts of insurance. So let's just delve right in. So let's talk about general liability and why it's important.
Absolutely. Most important is general liability covers you in the event that somebody sues you for any sort of accident that you could be liable for. So in the commercial realm, now we're talking like slip and falls or your negligence in proper railing or things like that.
So property insurance, is that different from general liability insurance?
Absolutely. So the property insurance is the coverage for the actual building. Mm-hmm. So God forbid something happens to the building, it catches fire, you want it rebuilt. Liability is you have people in the building and they slip and fall or something like that happens and they're going to now sue you because you were negligent.
Since we're talking about multifamily and investors, yes, is there specific insurance for landlords?
There is, and I strongly recommend that people look at their policies and make sure that they're not in a homeowner's policy, but they're actually in a landlord policy, because these policies are made specifically to protect you as a business owner. So now your liability is based on the fact that you're a business owner. And another huge component of that is business loss of income. Mm-hmm. In a regular home policy, loss of income pays to put you somewhere else. A loss of use in a business policy is your loss of income. So there's a fire and you have to move all the tenants out for 6 months. That's 6 months worth of rent that you're not getting. So you want to make sure that you protect your investment because you still have to pay that mortgage payment. So you want that income to still be coming in. So that's a huge component of the policy.
Yeah, that's very, very important,
yeah,
especially for an investor to have that.
Also, you want to make sure that your tenants have renter's insurance, because if something happens in the event that there is a fire, they are displaced and they're going to come looking to you to actually put them up somewhere, which you are not responsible to do. Some people do it out of the goodness of their heart, but at sometimes it's cost preventative. So if your renter has renter's insurance, they're now able to, because part of their policy is their loss of use. So now they're able to go into their insurance policy and pay to stay in a hotel or somewhere else during the time that they are looking for someplace else, or until you're able to open the place back up for them to live in.
Yes, and that's so important.
That's huge.
Absolutely.
That's huge.
For sure. Why is it important for all landlords and owners to require that their tenants have renter's insurance?
So,
in
addition to them actually having that loss of use coverage where they're able to protect themselves, now the liability aspect of that renter's policy protects you. God forbid you have somebody that completely destroys your place. You can now tap into the liability policy because now that renter has been negligent and you are suing them. They have a policy in place that you can tap into that will help cover their negligence, that you can now have a place where you can get money. Because I mean, sometimes renters don't, you could sue them, but they don't have a savings account. They may have limited income, so there's nothing really worthwhile for you to sue for.
So tell us, what are some specialty insurances that a landlord or an owner may think about getting to protect their property?
So I guess you would want to start with what are you actually protected in a landlord policy. So the perils that you're covered for is theft, wind, hail, and fire, and limited water. So anything outside of that, if you want to protect for earthquake or flood, those are separate policies that you'd want to get to protect your asset.
Is there anything else that you feel specific to investors or landlords or the commercial space that you'd want to share with us?
Yeah, I have quite a few clients that are starting to do short-term rentals, or they do the rental property in the back. So let's start with the short-term rental. When it comes to a short-term rental, your landlord policy does not cover you for that. That is a very specific coverage, and it adds a specific coverage in that now you have, instead of that long-term annual client that's going to be living there, you have several people, and the liability risk is higher because these people are coming from all over and they're staying in your home. So you want to, one, make sure you have the right policy, and two, you want to make sure you're protected properly with that short-term rental. Anybody doing any sort of Airbnb or anything like that, make sure you have the right policy, because God forbid if something happens and your insurance company finds out that the reason that happened was because you have a short-term renter, they're not going to cover that claim. And like I was saying before about anybody that has like the mother-in-law house that they are now renting out, that is, you want to make sure that that's under a separate policy as opposed to thinking it's under your home policy, because your home policy is set for a owner occupied. The back house, that is set as a landlord policy. So these are two completely different policies that will not overlap. So you want to make sure if you do have that mother-in-law home that you've rented out to a renter or doing the short term, you have the proper policy for that actual property.
Thank you so much, Ramona, for coming by and sharing all of your wonderful tips and information with our buyers and investors that are looking to get into multifamily.
Yes.
And where can we find you?
So you can reach me on Instagram at Smart Insurance Agency, or you can reach me online at smart-insuranceagency.com.
Wonderful. And that is all today for Tia's Tips, and we'll see you next time.